flag.
Okay, it is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call the county council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Middleton.
Here.
Varga.
Here.
Romano.
President.
Weigel.
Here.
Roberts.
Present.
In front of you are the minutes from our last meeting. I sent a couple of notes over to Rosie, one being that Dan was here. Mark, it shows him as absent, but he was present. And also that Olivia Moore's name is misspelled. Besides that, were there any other changes or corrections? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Jennifer, second by Tad. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Next up is ordinance number 2023-21. Do I have a motion to read by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jenny, seconded by Dan. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Please read ordinance number 2023-21 by title only.
Ordinance 2023-21, an ordinance fixing the annual salaries of all elected officials of the city of Plain City, Indiana, effective December 30th, 2023 for the year 2024.
So you remember at the last meeting, there was some conversation and we had adjusted it in the actual approval of the ordinance, which is 4% across the board, which is the same as what our employees were getting. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding the ordinance? That adjustment has been made, obviously.
That we did do the council members.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Hearing no questions, do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-21 on second and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tad, seconded by Jennifer. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Next up is the rezone for Farm Credit Mid-America at the corner of Connection Way and Lincoln Way. Nathan sends his apologies for not being here tonight. He had multiple family conflicts that he couldn't be here. However, I do know that some of our planning commission members are sitting at this table and can fill us in a little bit on conversation from the planning commission.
Yeah, there really wasn't a whole lot of discussion on the rezone. Everybody, understood the situation with bank that wants to go in there, and there wasn't a whole lot of discussion on the rezone portion of it. So it was really well accepted because of the surrounding zoning, existing zoning, and so it was pretty much unanimously approved.
One of the main topics was the entrance to Connection Way and the exit going out on Old 30. That's still under review, but it had nothing to slow down the request.
Actual rezone.
Rezone. The development plan was.
So they are
a
looking,
question.
they are looking at changing that intersection right there.
Well, they're looking at two entrances, and there's a lot of discussion on the second entrance being on Lincoln Way, because they already have one on Connection, and we talked about widening the one on Connection to 30 foot instead of 20, and then the bank still wants to have an entrance on Lincoln Way. Well, just my opinion was it's too close to Connection Way, and people still running 55 mile an hour, or when they come off of 30, they're gassing it, going, second entrance, I think, is my opinion, was a little bit of a problem, because they're so close, and when they're coming in on town, they're still running speed limit goes away. Coming around that curve, and right there's another entrance. So my opinion was to do away with it, but it was voted on to do a study of that area. Nobody said who was doing the study. Nobody said how it was going to get done. So my opinion was to do away with it, but so there's still discussion on it. So,
But not on the actual rezone portion.
not the rezone.
Because the rezone goes from A1
Oh,
to GB, right? And
Right.
ultimately, the question was not, as I understand, the question really is more about the logistics of the building itself, which still has to go in front of the planning commission again, correct?
Yeah, it'll come back
Yeah.
again for further discussion,
Yeah.
right? It's, you know, well, they say, well, the building's facing that way, well, it can still face that way.
Yeah,
My problem is having a second entrance. That's just my opinion. I was the only one that was no, so on that one, but, they wanted to have a study done. So how that plays out, I really don't know, because nobody really designated who's gonna do it, who's gonna pay for it. That was my other issue, but personally, I don't think the city should have to pay for a study,
yeah.
for that area. So I don't know how it's gonna play out.
I think it was even gone back to the owners to look at the study, and in the way I took it, they maybe would contribute to the study, because they are very, what I would say, their drawings and their schematics are more than we need, so they're really focused on doing it right the first time. And so I think that's why it's taking a little bit longer than normal, because they're trying to make that area out there as accessible as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a whole, full disclosure, as you all know, my parents live generally across the street from this property, so there's my disclosure to the public. I strongly concur with Dan of the amount of traffic that's running 55 at least going down that hill, or turns the corner off of 30 and guns it to get out. And I concur. And ultimately, just like in any other city street, you try to streamline traffic through through not a main thoroughfare, but through a connector street, and that's really what Connection Way is in general. But that's not up for conversation tonight. That's just my kind of
Okay,
two
we're
cents.
right
But
down to the zoning have, we
Will
have no
that
issue.
come to us eventually?
Sorry.
Would that come to us?
I think that would all go through Plan Commission. I don't think that'll come through us. So ultimately, the zoning makes a lot of sense because of what's around there, right? Across the street's general business, next door is general business, basically outside of that little stretch. You know, you have light industry that's there as well. So ultimately, I think it's a good fit for that property. It's just a matter of the logistics of the building, but we'll have Plan Commission fight that battle. But any thoughts about that or conversation piece before we actually do the ordinance?
Like I said, the zoning.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so, okay, do I have a motion to read ordinance 2023-22 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer, second by Jenny. Further discussion? All those in favor should be the usual sign. It is unanimous. Please read ordinance number 2023-22 by title only.
Ordinance 2023-22, an ordinance amending the zoning certification of certain property from the A1 agricultural district to the GB general business district.
Again, we just had that conversation, but any thoughts, comments, concerns regarding the actual ordinance? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2023-22 on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Jennifer. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. We'll move that to second reading at the next meeting. Next up is ordinance number 2023-23. Do I have a motion to read by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer, second by Tad. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Please read ordinance number 2023-23 by title only.
Ordinance 2023-23, an ordinance amending chapter 94 to add life safety and fire protection reports for the city of Plymouth City, Indiana.
Tom?
I really know nothing about this. The mayor forced me to put it on here.
That's not
I'm
true.
kidding. What this is you might remember back in early October, I made mention about a company called iRoll that has software that what it boils down to when people go around and do sprinkler inspections, they will be forced to report to iRoll whether there's deficiencies in a sprinkler system, and if so, those deficiencies would get sent to our inspectors to go in and have them correct their deficiencies in their sprinkler systems. Right now, it's kind of a, what they call an Easter egg hunt. You gotta go into these businesses, ask for their paperwork, hope they have it on premises, which they're supposed to. And if they do, try to look at it and find the deficiencies that were identified. This would red flag them and send them to us so that we know where these deficiencies are, and we go right to the problem and get them corrected. Almost instantaneously.
And it's ultimately, it's all about public safety. It's about the fact that there's customers that go into these businesses, and sometimes we have no clue whether sprinkler systems have passed or not passed, and it's incumbent upon us to enforce those laws, the fire code laws. So, do you want to introduce Trent?
Yeah, Trent Stamper is, he finally completed, it's a long process, finally completed his Inspector 1 and 2 with the state and got certified in that. So Trent will be taking over for Chris when he retires in 2025, early 2025.
So again, the enforcement mechanism comes through the ordinance, and so to effectively ensure that those reports are being processed the correct way and coming to us when there's issues, that's why the ordinance is in front of you. So, questions that you have? Yes, Kat?
So what's the cost of this, and if there is additional cost, which I assume there is that already built into your budget for next year or the upcoming years?
There's actually no cost to the government. It's actually a cost that's forwarded to the fire service providers, so companies like the inspection providers, so Corson's or Siemens or any other fire service inspectors that go through, they're the ones that'll get charged by IROL when they turn in the report. So then it's up to the fire service providers to either eat that cost or send it to the customer. And I believe it's $19 per report, and you're talking per business, depending on what inspectors do, would determine how many reports they get a year.
Are those yearly inspections that have to happen?
There's 2 5 years, there's a yearly and a semi-annually. It just depends on what kind of business. It's a wide gamut
Sure.
of.
But that's all based on state law, though, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's our job to enforce the law, and when you have one guy and as many businesses as we have here, it's hard to do. So this is adding more manpower without necessarily having to hire more people.
So will you be responsible then for the collection of this,
The collection of what?
of the fees?
No, ma'am. That's all third party.
Okay.
It's between the fire inspection companies. My job is just to make sure that the fire inspection companies do their job. When there's a problem, I see it. I make sure that the businesses get those problems fixed. Kind of like Blue Bell with the fire door. I don't know if you knew about that, but that's getting repaired. That's the kind of things that we,
So we basically are just the receivers of the report.
yes.
So they let us know, hey, we did this inspection, here are a couple things that turned up. So our fire department is really the receiver of the information. We don't have anything to do with the money. Effectively, so the Board of Works approved contract with IROL so that we will get those reports from them specifically. So this basically is the other side, which is to enforce the code
Got it.
so that we get the reports, so that we can enforce the law.
Okay.
Well, thanks for stepping up and taking that position.
Sir.
Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve ordinance 2023-23 on first reading?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Jenny, seconded by Tad. Further discussion? All those in favor show with the usual sign. It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Next up is a job description approval for the community engagement specialist. Chip, you want to talk about that?
This is to assist me with day-to-day meetings and Tuesday night meetings. I don't know if you guys know, but every Tuesday night I have a meeting. And so this would kind of assist with that and just help get some more, community involvement out in the public.
So as you can see in the actual job description, you can see that one of the roles would be the kind of overseeing and management of the test kitchen, which we're I know I keep saying this, we are getting closer.
Yes, we are getting closer.
We are still working with the Don Wood Foundation on that as an opportunity. Ultimately, what we're finding is that over and over and over again, there are more and more boards that are wanting city participation, especially when it comes to, again, community development type projects and all those kind of things. On top of that, you can see that in general, they kind of act as the liaison. They research and work on grant things with our grant administrator. There's a lot of kind of groundwork kind of a thing that they would be handling, and ultimately, again, I think I've covered just about everything that's in the actual job description. As a reminder, you all did approve this as a part of the budget. We have discussed that as well in the budget conversation here when you approved the budget. So, any questions regarding the actual position description? Okay. I have a motion to approve the community engagement specialist position description.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tad, seconded by Dan. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you.
I just for Chip.
Yes.
Will you send this out for,
Yes.
submissions first of the year or just
Yes.
right away?
January 1st, or not January 1st, but
1st of January.
January 4th, we'll
Yeah.
put it out for job applications.
The thing that we've been working on is where to put them, because there's really, we want to have them near, obviously, Chip, with community development being the kind of supervisor, but the other side of that is the municipal services facility is pretty full. So we're looking at maybe somehow housing with the GIS coordinator or something there. We don't really have room at City Hall either, so, which am I thinking?
I'm gonna bunk up with the mayor.
I need to.
How about Mike Shodas? He's got room.
No room there.
No, we're ready.
No room.
No way.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, did that answer your question, Ted? Okay. Next up is the suspension of delinquent utility bills. Rosie?
Okay, this is the people that we either cannot find, they moved out of state, or they're deceased or bankrupt. I just gotta say kudos to our city attorney and to my girls, because this is just minor compared to what it used to be. I actually was contacted by a company to do this for us, and I said, no, there's no way. I don't think anybody could do it as good as our attorney and my girls. So I just, actually the suspended for people that we can't find is the $6,566.73, and then the bankruptcy is $414, and then the deceased is $1,579.52. So I just need approval to go ahead and suspend these. Now, the ones that are the $6,566, we do keep those accounts, but we move them to a high number so they don't print every month. And just like I've been working with her and Beate the last couple days on somebody we found that was back in when, 18? Back in 18.
Well, 2002 originally.
Yeah.
Things have been building up.
And they started back on our lines, and so I
Yeah.
got them and getting the money from them. So that part doesn't go away. Now the others, they're deceased, so you can't get them, but.
I think it should be noted, obviously, and I agree with Rosie. I think we commend our city attorney and the staff of the clerk's office. Because keep in mind, the more we write off, the harder that hits our utilities, right? So the less we write off, the better it is long-term for our utilities. And I think, thinking about the last couple of years and what we've done, it has been very minimal. And I know when I talk to other communities, that number is significantly higher than what we approve for similar sized cities of ours. So yes, absolutely commend them. And so the request is to suspend those accounts,
Correct.
okay?
To suspend the ones that we just can't find and to write off the bankruptcy and the deceased.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer, seconded by Walt. Further discussion? All those in favor show with the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you for your work on that, Ruth. Department head reports. Gary.
All right, Casey Harshberger started Monday and is in the FTO process. Seems to be a great, I say young man, but he's 29 years old, but so doing well, enjoying the job. Received our last 2 cars from Cops Gear this week, so that's good. Doing deputy chief interviews this week and looking forward to filling that position. Had our trainers meeting last night. We've scheduled most of our 2024 training, so we're ahead of the game on that. Dispatch, we're doing shift lead interviews next Thursday to fill one position. And other than that, we're just plugging away and doing good.
Questions, Gary? Thank you. Chip.
So earlier tonight, the Board of Works approved me to be the signer for we're doing a sewer project with the county and the city. And the county is actually paying for the sewer project, but the city is running it. So we are moving along. They've got the lift station in out on 100 South and have several hundred feet of pipe in, so that's moving forward. The engineer said bid opening date of January 22nd for Eagle Park. We are working on getting a bid date, hopefully for January for the Blue River Trail out to the high school. Thursday, I'm meeting with the county to discuss Westgate drainage, and then Monday night, the mayor and I are going out to Westgate. I don't know if you're going, Jennifer.
I don't know that I just realized I may not have informed the 2 of you, but Monday night at 6 p.m. At the
Church.
At the Trinity Press over there on Old 30. We're having our Westgate Phase 2 meeting with those residents to talk through the plans and all that kind of stuff. We obviously have not bid that project yet, but this kind of gives them a heads up of, okay, here's the maps, here's what we're thinking, here's what's going to happen, kind of thing. So this is the preliminary or pre-bid, if you will, with them. And then once we have a contractor, we will meet again with them to let them know, okay, here's the contractor will lay out, okay, here's the general timeline, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to do it. So yeah, Monday at 6 at I think
Sure.
it's
Trinity at the Hinchcole.
I think it's Trinity Press. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I should have told you about that. So.
Evangelical. That's all I have.
Okay. Question, Chip? Thank you, Mike.
We've started the stormwater separation down on South Chauncey Street. Set the structure Monday. We've got 3 sections of pipe in. They're pretty good sized pipe. They're 30-inch pipe, so it's digging it, and we've got, I don't know how many fiber down through there, and gas lines that we're digging, and sewer lines we're digging around, so I think 3 pieces a day was pretty good.
Question on Mike. Thank you. Kelly.
We will be pouring the sidewalk back on that project sometime next year, because they're going right down the sidewalk, and our crew will be pouring it back. We're buttoning up leaf pickup. Went around this week for last time this week, and then we'll be going around next week once. We'll be doing a round of limb pickup also. Graded alleys this week and just doing maintenance.
Questions, Kelly? Thank you. Terry.
Got 3 fiber projects waiting on pieces and parts to come in so we can finish those up. And we have 1 more fiber break in the network out at the park we're working on fixing.
Questions of Terry? Thank you. Don.
So we have finally completed the majority of the 69 kV conversion. All of our substations, all the physical conversion has been done to all 3 of those. They have been re-energized. There is some little tweaks to be made. Project went off fairly well. We only had like one little hitch, but went off very well. I appreciate all my guys' work on that. That was, outside of the engineering aspect, it was done in-house, so great work by them. Also, I will be sending specs out for a new bucket truck, probably at the end of this week. Those will be due in January, so we'll look forward to getting those back to the board at that point. I did attend the IMPA Commissioners meeting and then followed up with a legislative committee meeting down in Carmel on Friday. As I explained to the board, for the longest time, we had two separate committees for legislative matters. We had the IMPA, the Indiana Municipal Power Agency Committee, which they have a full staff of 4 to 5 people that just work on this legislative things. And then the Indiana Municipal Electric Association Committee, which is all volunteers. I was a member of kind of both agencies, so I kind of drug everybody to the table. We tried to hash out any differences they might have had, and we were able to do so. So now we've created a municipal electric legislative committee. So that's great news. The mayor has been in on some of those meetings. He's going to be in on more moving forward as well. So we will be flying out to Washington, D.C. again this year with this group. So they do great work, and it's a great committee to be a part of. I did want to say for anyone that hasn't, the Indiana Municipal Power Agency has a IMPA 101 course for new council members or returning that haven't been there. Basically, it's just a course that says this is who we are, this is what we do. And it's a really neat course. I will have the mayor kind of reach out to everyone with that information when they release it, but that'll be February 15th this year. So with that, we're getting ready to start city trees for the tree board here in the next week or two. So,
Did you say February 15th?
yep.
Okay, that's the first day of city retreat.
I'll go.
I'm going with that. Maybe a conflict.
I just realized that, I'm sorry.
You're right.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, questions, Tom? Thank you. Matt?
We had our ribbon cutting December 4th, so we're all moved into the new office. The guys have been cleaning up fallen trees over the last summer that had storms come through. We're also cutting down some dead ones that have been marked with a white X for a while. We're just going ahead and finally getting those out of the way. The ice rink is open. It opened December 1st. We've had an okay amount of people coming in. And other than that, it's just the day-to-day stuff.
Questions on Matt? Thank you. Mike?
I've been working on trying to get some sludge hauling around before the end of the year. We're having trouble getting our pump back in after sitting for a year. There's something that's holding it up. Staff evaluations completed last Friday, and the grit and roll pipes had a staff member volunteer to take on that project. So that's being completed in the Headworks building. And during the Board of Works meeting, they gave approval to order 3 MOSH units, which is monitoring and status units for our pumps, our main lift station pumps. This will expand the amount of information that will be able to be sent back to the office as far as monitoring what they do as far as temperature, voltage, amperage, and things like that. We're upgrading. We have a unit that's faulty now and sending fault signals and shut the pump down that doesn't need to be shut down. So we're going to be replacing those with new units. Just an update, I don't know if I told you, when those pumps were ordered, they were put in 2007, they were $46,000 a piece. If we have to replace one now, they're over $100,000. So the upgrade to doing the equipment is just over $35,000. So we're going to spend $35,000 to try to save $100,000. So hopefully we know something is going wrong ahead of time before it goes wrong. So that's it. Let's get questions.
Any questions on Mike? Thank you. Tom?
For the last, gosh knows how many years I came and told the council that our fire system, the whole fire system in the county needed to be looked at and probably addressed. I would like to commend the mayor and 3 township trustees for coming to the table, being willing to come to the table, at least sit and look at where we're at, where we're going, and what we may need in the future. With that being said, that comes with a lot of homework that has to be done, and the packet for that homework got placed in my lap. Rosie had a portion of it that she had to fill out, and her portion was a nightmare as well, so thanks for that, Rosie. It took me a long time to get that done, and that was, as these guys can attest, I was stressed pretty bad for it. So finally got that done last Friday. Volunteer payroll got done. All of our trucks have been repaired. Yay. C-Shift replaced the last valve today that needs to be replaced, and thanks to them for doing that. Our evals are done. Our truck specs have been drawn up and approved by engineering and sent off for bids. And what was the date, Rosie, that bid opening will be?
February. Yeah. February 27th.
Thank you. So that's a complete project. I'd like to put out thanks to Mike McGregor for really taking the bull by the horns on that project, because you've got to have somebody that's pretty detail oriented to really dig into the weeds on that. Also, Rodney Oosley retired. His last day was last Friday. In his place, Reese Perry has been promoted to shift captain, and congratulations to him.
Questions of Tom? Thank you.
And Candy, I keep forgetting that.
I don't know how, it's only been going on for 150 years.
Since dinosaurs walked the earth, I won't name names, but some people could probably remember it. Since dinosaurs walked the earth, the fire departments gave away candy on Christmas Eve from 6 to 8 p.m. Again, like we've done the last several years, you can enter from the Market Street side of Chauncey through a tunnel of cones that the police department's letting us borrow. And you'll drive along the east side of the road on the west side of the courthouse and turn right on Van Buren.
You made that the most confusing. You go from south Chauncey up to the north, up towards Van Buren, and then you'll turn eastward on Van Buren. Then you'll get your candy, and then about midway you can go anywhere. So up Chauncey, down Van Buren.
Yes. And that's, I'd like to say, one thing that we don't really say is all are welcome. It's been a tradition for what we contracted back into the 1880s that we've been doing this. Candy was expensive, if not impossible to get, and citrus fruit was a huge commodity at that time of the year, specifically in this part of the country. So giving away candy and citrus was a big deal, and we've just maintained that tradition all these years. And all are welcome. It's not just for certain members of our community, it's for everybody. So feel free to come in, grab a bag of candy, and go about your day.
And Tom, remind us how that's funded.
That is funded 100% by donation. We've been very fortunate that the fire department had a huge donor, the Bills family. Les and his family came to it for years and years, and he made Chuck, his son, made a very sizable donation to the foundation that funds a good portion of that. And then we still take donations because we're still not to the point where it's completely self-funded. So the donations we receive now go into that account at the foundation to help fund this for the future.
I'll put you on the spot. Roughly how much candy do we give away in a night?
About 600 pounds of candy.
That's job security for dentists is what I hear.
Yes.
Have you ever ran out?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever ran out?
We have. We try to base our next year's candy order on what we gave away the previous year. We ran out at 10 minutes till 8 one year. And there was nobody in line at that point to get any more, so it was almost perfect. But only that one year can I attest that we ever ran out. Walt, can you ever attest running out?
I don't go back that far.
I didn't mean, I was playing earlier.
Any other question, any questions of Tom? Thank you.
Wait, I have one.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Just to clarify, it's a drive-through thing again? this-
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we're doing it curbside again. It just goes a lot easier than it did in the past. And I think people really enjoy not having to get out with their kids in the cold. However, I still am partial to all of us being in our Class A's and doing it classy, but this works out better for everybody else.
Okay, thank you. Introduce Soraya Arnold from our youth council. Go ahead and introduce yourself and what we did at the last youth council meeting.
Awesome. I'm Soraya Arnold. I'm a junior senior at Columbia City High School and a member of Columbia City Youth Council. So this last meeting, what we did was we reviewed state government, or really what we didn't know about state government. So we kind of got a good place for us to start learning. Then we discussed the Youth Council Summit that we'll be hosting later and trying to figure out some details and just kind of what to base our host off of. And then we completed a short service budget.
Questions of Soraya?
She's been mean to me.
Okay, thank you. Marcia, Rosie.
Just a few things. We're anxiously waiting for our tax approval to come back. I've been meeting with all the department heads that are really involved trying to make sure we don't, if we have money left, that they can get some stuff, or still working with a couple of them yet. And just a reminder, anybody that gets out to eat January 1st, make sure those restaurants are charging you the FAB tax. And if they're not, make sure you let us know.
On that note, at the last meeting of the year, as usual, we will have kind of a balancing out ordinance, correct, for the budgets?
Yes.
Just to be-
I'm working on that too. I'm meeting with Mayor on Thursday.
Oh.
But we'll be doing transfers to kind of switch the money around a little bit, so.
Great. Anything else?
I have a question regarding that, the tax on that. How is that being implemented? Is there like an information or
I
a
sent
letter,
letters.
or how is that?
I sent letters to every restaurant that was in town at the time, which was back when we had actually.
The state mandated how we notify them and all that kind of stuff, so.
They gave me a sample letter, and we don't actually collect it, it goes to them. and-
Sure.
But we just need to make sure, because if they're not charging it, then I need to get a hold of them so that they can contact the restaurants.
I think it's a great excuse to visit every restaurant.
That's true.
That's true.
Make it a mission.
And it'll be anybody that comes into town with trailers, they all have to collect it.
Anything else? Bunch of stuff for your information. Obviously, we're doing a lot of our, finishing off a lot of the evaluations this week. As you probably saw in the press release, as well as an email I sent out to you, Dan is coming back on Board of Works, as well as we're welcoming Lisa Smith. If you haven't met Lisa, I'm pretty confident she's planning to come to the next month, or I'm sorry, the next meeting, the 28th. To the Board of Works at least meeting, I'm sure, kind of hang over to the council a little bit. But I'm excited to welcome them in. Obviously, next meeting will be Walt and Nicole's last meetings here. Walt, as you well know, we're going to have a little reception for him specifically because Walt has been with the city since he was in diapers, I think. And so we're excited to congratulate him and also just thank him for the work and the efforts that he's done. I will save those comments for the next meeting. But that is planned after the next council meeting, which again is the 28th, not the 26th. This Friday, I have US 30 Coalition meeting. As you are probably well aware, the Pell study, they came out with that level 1 assessment. I don't remember if I talked about this or not, but level 1 assessment is basically saying here's the kind of treatments we're not going to look at. Or the kind of treatments that we're going to start considering. One of those treatments that they are not looking at is a bypass, which I think is music to the ears of many people. They're also not looking at the option of adding lanes because it doesn't fix the problem. So everything that they will be putting onto maps from here on out has to address the purpose and need statement, which is to address the safety issues, to address the congestion issues, those T-bone crashes, things like that. So as always, you can find all that information on Propel US 30, PROPELUS30.com. They go to the US 30 East segment, that is what we're in, and then you can find all that documentation. Let's see. Saturday at Green Hill Cemetery is the Wreaths Across America ceremony. That's where they will be placing, well, there will be a small ceremony, and then they'll be placing wreaths on veterans' graves across Green Hill, as well as I think some of the other cemeteries. We are, I think, one of the only organizations or one of the only cities in all of Northeast Indiana that's actually participating in this. It's a nationwide program. Appreciate Gary Bird, who has spearheaded not only this, but as you are well aware, multiple veterans projects. And so I'm going to be participating in that. Next week, as mentioned, we have the Westgate meeting that will happen at 6 p.m. At that church, and really we'll just be going over the project as a whole. We do not have the contractor yet, so it's just mainly here's the plan of action without knowing the actual timeline and stuff yet. So, I believe next Thursday, so a week from this coming Thursday, Easter Seals Passages will be doing a tour of City Hall. So you should know about that, right? Okay, well, we'll make sure you get information about it. So, anyways, the Easter Seals Passages will be doing what?
Chip did plan the last one, didn't tell me, and then he wasn't here.
Oh, gotcha. So, Gary and Tom, I think you guys will obviously be a part of that as well. I thought Ashley had, this was multiple months ago, but okay, well, maybe it's gonna happen, maybe it's not gonna happen, I don't know. So, anyways, as a reminder, City Hall is closed the 25th and 26th, as well as January 1st and 2nd in observance of Christmas. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I think that's all I got. Walt?
Nothing.
Dan?
We just added on the planning commission, we did discuss advanced auto welding.
Oh, yeah.
Just discussed that, it's still kind of preliminary to what's to be a car wash. So we put some limitations on how the layout of that was going to be. So that'll probably not for us too much, but just a heads up that car wash is a possibility of that location.
Great. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
I have a couple of things. First of all, hoping to wrap up the Christmas light judging Friday or Sunday. So if you have lights, have them on Friday or Sunday, or both probably. The other thing is today I attended the AIM training and learned some new things that I didn't already know, so I didn't be here for everyone. So definitely a worthwhile exercise to go to that. And then Arts Commission met last week, and we will be working on a presentation that will be brought to council probably sometime in January or February.
Excellent. Thank you. Tad?
We had redevelopment today, pretty slow day for that. We are looking at planning some sort of beautification on the south side of town with trees, and work with the tree board and Chip, give him a fancy shovel and get down some holes.
Thank you.
That's it.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Tad. Jenny?
I have nothing.
Thank you. We have no press? Oh, Gary?
Talking about the wreaths, I've been asked to do a courtesy transport for the truck tomorrow. He's going to be coming into town about 12:30, 1 o'clock. They're going to unload 2 full skids of wreaths running around so they can actually put those on Saturdays. So if you see me escorting the semi through town,
So a question about that, because I think I saw something about that. Where is the semi going to be parked? Is it on Van Buren or on Line Street?
On Line Street.
On Line?
Yeah.
Do we need to block off those parking spaces?
Yes, Joanne asked today, just right before this meeting,
Okay.
if I could block those off tomorrow. Should only be blocked off for about an hour.
Okay.
Shouldn't take that long.
So it's just a temporary, it's not something else.
Never met. It's too. What Tom called these guys earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, so it should just be a temporary situation. We'd like to get the truck off the roadway so we don't block Line Street.
Do you anticipate that they will continue north on Line Street back to 30, or, I guess they're probably not coming off 30, but,
Well, from what I understand, he's coming in by City Ford,
okay?
up past Big G's, and then coming here on Market, and then, so he can get in the right way. And then I guess he's gonna go out, Van Buren to Maine, and then back south.
Okay. That turn on, I was gonna say, that turn on to Van Buren makes me a little
Might be a little-
nervous.
Right, might be a little hectic.
There's nothing just get replaced.
Yes.
On the other side, though.
Yeah.
We'll assist him.
Okay, thank you. Audience?
Melanie Love, 113 East Market Street. I just wanted to share with you, this week, I have an article from Massachusetts where they have successfully passed a chicken ordinance. I thought it was interesting because they had 10 in favor with no opposition and 1 person absent. This is one of several of the communities in their region that has been adopting right to farm laws, allowing anywhere from 5 to 25 chickens in residential areas. Again, pointing out that having the chickens has increased access to food security, it enhances gardens, improves biodiversity, and completes the natural nutrient cycle, which I think we can all agree is, pretty important if we're going to talk about sustainability and trying to keep our community flourishing. The quality of our soil is very important. And again, just reminding that hens produce less noise than a barking dog, landscape machinery, or even playing children, all of which are common neighborhood sounds. And this lady in her quote, who was the one responsible for passing it and advocating for it, said, "Our chickens do not negatively impact neighborhood character. They are not eyesores to the neighborhood. These chickens live in very clean conditions and are tended to daily. There are flowers, herbs, and shrubs surrounding their area to muffle any sounds and limit visibility for neighbors." They said that they had not a lot of people talking about it, but they said they only had 2 people from the community that said that they were not in support. They had 50 people in support, which, judging by the numbers of having that many council people, where they had 12, only having a response of 52 people, kind of says, again, that a lot of people are not going to come forward and say anything because they don't really care either way. And I just wanted to remind you of that and, again, say that, chickens are very important. A lot of the people who want to have them see them as, pets or even, little family members. If you're the kind of person that thinks your dog is a family member, it's kind of like that with chickens for a lot of people. And typically, if you have those kinds of feelings for your pets, you don't, let them become a nuisance and a problem and a mess. So, thank you.
Thank you. One last thing to the council. For those of you that will be returning next year, we will be doing pictures at the first meeting of the year. So would ask that you address business or professional in some way, shape, or form. And for the council members, I would ask that you maybe show up about 30 minutes before council, because I'd like to be doing pictures while Board Works is happening. So, Dan, if you can check a couple minutes before Board Works. Okay. Other than that, yes, Jennifer?
Swearing in ceremony.
Yes, thank you. Swearing in ceremony, January 1st at noon at the courthouse. Excited that Lisa will be joining us, and I'm expecting to probably swear in Nicole last time and Nicole. remember you did that. Okay, so, besides that, anything else? Okay, we'll call the meeting adjourned, thank you.